Christmas menus are packed with desserts that look magical and taste miserable. The gap between what you expect and what you actually get is brutal. 5 of them are so overrated they should come with a warning label. 3 are the rare holiday wins that deserve your money. Olive Garden's tiramisu is the perfect example of how a famous name can hide a terrible product. The menu promises traditional Italian ladyfingers soaked in espresso, layered with mascarpone cream, dusted with cocoa. The photo looks elegant. The server recommends it. You're expecting authentic Italian bakery vibes. What arrives is nothing like that. Real tiramisu is the benchmark of Italian dessert making. It should be light, sophisticated, with a distinct coffee kick that cuts through sweetness. At Olive Garden, this dessert fails on every single level. The ladyfingers should be delicate sponge cookies that absorb espresso while maintaining structure. Instead, they're either completely waterlogged and falling apart, or stiff and dry like cardboard that's been sitting out for hours. There's zero consistency between locations, or even between visits to the same location. But here's where it gets worse. The mascarpone cream is supposed to be rich Italian cheese, with a slight tang that makes tiramisu work. What Olive Garden uses tastes like stabilized whipped topping with vanilla flavoring. It's missing that characteristic tang completely. The texture is wrong too, either too runny and slides off the ladyfingers, or so thick and stiff it feels like eating whipped topping straight from the container. The espresso component is laughable. Real tiramisu gets its coffee flavor from strong espresso, sometimes mixed with coffee liqueur. The coffee should be present, but not overwhelming. At Olive Garden, it tastes like artificial coffee flavoring from cheap coffee ice cream. Sometimes it's so weak you barely taste it. Sometimes it's so bitter it's unpleasant. Zero consistency. Then there's the cocoa powder. Traditional tiramisu gets a light dusting of unsweetened cocoa on top, just enough to add a slight bitter note. Olive Garden dumps so much cocoa powder on this that your first bite gives you a mouthful of dry powder that coats your tongue and makes your mouth feel chalky. Here's what Olive Garden doesn't want you to know. This dessert is mass-produced in some commissary kitchen, frozen and shipped to every location. Each restaurant thaws them and serves them. That's why the texture is always off. That's why the ladyfingers are either mush or cardboard. At $9, you're paying premium prices for something that would embarrass a $3 grocery store frozen tiramisu. Actually, the grocery store version might be better, because those companies specialize in frozen desserts. The Cheesecake Factory brings this back every holiday season, and people order it because it photographs well and sounds festive. This is a textbook example of too many flavors destroying a dessert. The menu promises white and dark chocolate cheesecake swirled with peppermint, sitting on a mint chocolate brownie base. It's tall, colorful, and looks like Christmas threw up on a plate. Starting with the mint chocolate brownie base that should support everything else. A good brownie is moist, dense, and chocolatey. This one is dry, crumbly, and tastes like artificial mint extract mixed into brownie batter as an afterthought. The chocolate flavor is weak. The mint is harsh and chemical. The cheesecake layer combines white chocolate and dark chocolate swirled with peppermint. On paper, interesting. In execution, a complete disaster. Here's what happens when you actually eat it. You taste peppermint. Strong, artificial candy cane syrup peppermint that completely overpowers everything else. Then aggressive sweetness from white chocolate that doesn't taste like real white chocolate. The dark chocolate barely registers because the peppermint has destroyed your palate. The fundamental flaw is balance. A good cheesecake relies on cream cheese tang to offset sweetness. This peppermint flavoring is so aggressive it masks everything, including that essential tang. But here's the real problem. For the first bite, it reads as festive. By bite 5, it tastes like toothpaste. By bite 7, you're trying to scrape the peppermint off your tongue. That's because they're using peppermint extract with that chemical aftertaste that builds up. Real peppermint is clean and refreshing. This is neither. The texture makes it worse. Cheesecake Factory's regular cheesecakes are already dense and heavy. This holiday version is so thick and heavy, it sits in your stomach like a brick. After 3 bites, you feel uncomfortably full. After half the slice, you feel sick. The sheer weight of the toppings and chocolate swirl make the filling paste-like rather than creamy. The swirl pattern looks pretty in photos. That's the entire point. The red and white swirls photograph beautifully for Instagram. but that visual appeal disappears the second you actually eat it. At $12 per slice, this is insulting. You can get an entire decent cheesecake from a grocery store for $15. You're paying almost the cost of a full cheesecake for one slice that tastes like peppermint extract mixed with sugar. You're paying for Instagram potential, not taste. Chili's molten chocolate cake has been on the menu so long, people order it out of habit. It's famous. It's been in commercials. The concept is simple. Warm chocolate cake with gooey molten center, vanilla ice cream, chocolate sauce. Here's the problem. This dessert only works 30% of the time. The chocolate cake itself should be rich, moist, and intensely chocolatey. What you get is generic chocolate cake that tastes like box mix. There's no depth, no real chocolate flavor. It doesn't taste like chocolate. It tastes like chocolate-flavored cake, which is different and worse. The texture is dense and heavy, but not in a good fudgy way. It's dense because it's dry and overcooked. A true molten cake relies on precise baking to keep the center liquid. At Chili's, these cakes are frozen. When you order one, they take it from the freezer and heat it. The timing has to be exact. Sometimes your cake arrives with the center actually molten, warm, gooey, liquid. That only happens 30% of the time. The other 70% of the time, you get disasters. Sometimes the center is barely warm, not liquid or gooey, just slightly warm ganache that kind of oozes. Sometimes it's cold or room temperature because the cake sat too long. Sometimes it's hot on the edges, but frozen in the middle because the kitchen rushed it. This happens because when the restaurant is busy and the kitchen is slammed, your cake sits getting further from optimal temperature. The timing has to be exact, and busy kitchens can't maintain that precision. The vanilla ice cream adds nothing. It's standard chain restaurant ice cream. Sweet, cold, that's it. It melts immediately when it touches the warm cake, creating a lukewarm puddle at the bottom. That puddle mixes with the chocolate sauce and creates weird soup that's neither hot nor cold, just tepid and unappetizing. The chocolate sauce is cheap syrup from a squeeze bottle. It adds sweetness, but no chocolate flavor. It's just there to make the dessert look decadent in photos. At $8, you're playing lottery with frozen cake that may or may not be heated properly, served with generic ice cream and cheap chocolate syrup. This dessert lives on reputation from 15 years ago, when it was actually good. Outback's salted caramel cookie skillet is peak Instagram bait. It arrives in cast iron. This massive chocolate chip cookie, topped with vanilla ice cream, caramel drizzle, and sea salt. It looks impressive. It's designed to be shared. The server tells you it's fresh from the oven. Here's what they don't tell you. This cookie is never cooked correctly. Never. The center is raw, not gooey, not undercooked in an intentional way. Actually raw. The dough is wet and tastes like uncooked flour and raw eggs. You can see raw dough when you scoop into it. Meanwhile, the edges are overcooked, hard, burnt in spots. So crispy, they're almost inedible. There's maybe a 1-inch zone between raw center and burnt edges, where the cookie is properly baked. That's it. This happens because it's served in a skillet. The sugar makes it highly susceptible to burning. The skillet is extremely hot. They put cookie dough in screaming hot cast iron and bake it. The heat from the pan cooks the bottom and edges too fast. The center doesn't get enough time. The salted caramel aspect is often unbalanced. The caramel should be rich and buttery. Instead, it's corn syrup with artificial caramel flavoring, cloyingly sweet with chemical aftertaste. It doesn't have the complexity real caramel has. No butter notes, no depth, just sugar sauce with brown coloring. The sea salt situation is comical. Sometimes it's sprinkled evenly. More often, you get huge chunks in random spots. You take a bite and get a mouthful of straight salt. It's not balanced. Other bites have zero salt. You don't get the salted caramel effect they're advertising. The vanilla ice cream melts instantly because the skillet is too hot. Within 90 seconds, the ice cream has melted into liquid. It pools at the bottom, mixes with caramel sauce, and creates warm, milky puddle. Everything becomes lukewarm. You lose the hot-cold contrast that makes skillets appealing. You're left with tepid cookie dough soup. At $10, you're paying for cookie dough that's raw in the middle and burnt on the edges, artificial caramel, inconsistent salt, and ice cream that turns to warm milk. Red Lobster's key lime pie should be a slam dunk. You're at a seafood restaurant. Key lime pie is a classic Florida seafood dessert. It should be light, tart, refreshing after heavy fried shrimp and Cheddar Bay biscuits. What you get is a crime against key lime pie. Key lime pie should be a refreshing palate cleanser with sharp, acidic lime punch and buttery graham cracker crust. It requires smooth, custard-like consistency. The filling is the heart, and this is where Red Lobster fails completely. Real key lime pie uses key lime juice, which is more tart and aromatic than regular lime. The filling should be smooth, creamy, with perfect balance between sweet and tart. Red Lobster's version tastes like lime-flavored pudding mix. It's artificial, one-dimensional, sour without being tart. There's no depth, no real citrus flavor. It tastes exactly like citric acid, lime extract, and food coloring mixed into generic custard base. The filling suffers from gelatinous, rubbery texture, suggesting heavy stabilizer use rather than natural set. The flavor profile is dominated by condensed milk sweetness, with lime tasting artificial and muted, lacking any citrus zest. The color gives it away. Real key lime pie filling is pale yellow, almost off-white. Red Lobster's version is bright artificial green. That lime green screaming, "This is not made with real limes." That color comes from food dye because the filling doesn't contain enough real lime juice. The graham cracker crust should be crispy, buttery, and hold together when cut. Instead, this crust is either soggy from absorbing moisture from the filling, losing all structural integrity, or rock hard from being refrigerated too long. There's no crunch, no butter flavor. It's just flavorless, textureless barrier between plate and filling. The whipped cream on top is straight from an aerosol can. That aerosol texture and chemical taste that dissolves instantly. Real whipped cream holds up and tastes like cream. This tastes like preservatives or nothing at all. At $7, it's not the most expensive dessert, but it's still not worth ordering. You can buy better key lime pie from grocery store freezer sections for $6. If this is saving you from expensive disappointment, you need to subscribe to this channel right now. I test food so you don't have to waste your money. What's coming next are 3 desserts that are actually worth ordering, and you'll want to remember these names when you're staring at a dessert menu this Christmas. Hit that subscribe button, because these recommendations will change how you order dessert forever. Here's something that'll surprise you. While Red Lobster's key lime pie is a complete disaster, their brownie overboard is one of the best desserts in casual dining. This is what every chain restaurant brownie should be. It consists of warm walnut brownie topped with vanilla ice cream, hot fudge, whipped cream, and walnuts. Simple concept, flawless execution. The foundation is a walnut brownie, and this brownie succeeds where so many others fail. It's dense without being dry, moist without being gummy. The chocolate flavor is real. You can taste actual cocoa, not fake chocolate cake flavor. This tastes like someone used real chocolate and cocoa powder, not artificial flavoring. The walnuts are distributed throughout, adding texture and slightly bitter nutty flavor that balances the sweetness perfectly. They're not stale. They're not sparse. They're generous and fresh. When this arrives, the brownie is properly warm, not room temperature with one hot spot, not scalding, heated evenly and recently. That matters because warm brownies have completely different texture than cold ones. The edges get slightly crispy. The center stays soft. Chocolate flavor is more pronounced when warm. On top, you get vanilla ice cream, and Red Lobster makes a smart choice here. They use good quality vanilla ice cream. It's creamy, rich, and actually tastes like vanilla, not generic sweet cream. When it starts melting into the warm brownie, it creates incredible sauce that's part melted ice cream, part warm chocolate. That combination is exactly what you want. Then comes hot fudge, and this is not chocolate syrup. This is actual hot fudge sauce. Thick, glossy, made with real chocolate. You can taste the difference immediately. Cheap chocolate sauce is thin and one-note sweet. Good hot fudge has depth, slight bitterness from chocolate, and a richness from cream or butter. It coats your spoon and stays where you put it. The whipped cream is real whipped cream. It has body and texture. It's not foam that disappears on your tongue. When you take a bite, including whipped cream, it adds cool, light element contrasting with rich chocolate and warm brownie. Finally, more walnuts on top add crunch. Every bite has different textures: soft brownie, creamy ice cream, smooth hot fudge, light whipped cream, crunchy walnuts. What makes this worth ordering is consistency. I've tested this at Red Lobster locations across different states. It comes out the same every time. Brownie is always warm. Hot fudge is always good. Portions are consistent. Red Lobster has quality control systems for this dessert. At $8, this is fair pricing for quality ingredients executed properly. The brownie is substantial. Toppings are generous. You're not paying for Instagram potential or seasonal gimmicks. You're paying for straightforward dessert that tastes good. TGI Fridays Melting Snowman Sundae is a seasonal item that actually works. Normally, I'm skeptical of seasonal desserts because they're often regular items with holiday decorations slapped on. This one succeeds. It features white chocolate brownie topped with vanilla ice cream, white chocolate sauce, and festive decorations shaped like a snowman. It's festive without being gimmicky. The base is premium vanilla ice cream. Not regular vanilla, premium vanilla. You can taste the difference immediately. It's richer, creamier, with more pronounced vanilla flavor. Regular vanilla at chain restaurants tends to be icy and bland. This has texture and flavor of ice cream you'd buy at an ice cream shop. Mixed into the ice cream are brownie chunks, not brownie bits or crumbles. Actual chunks of brownie, probably from the same brownies they use for other desserts. They're soft and fudgy, not stale or dry. They taste fresh, which is impressive for a dessert with multiple components. Brownie chunks are distributed evenly, so every few bites you get chocolate hit. The white chocolate brownie base offers unique alternative to standard dark chocolate everywhere else. It's dense, buttery, and pairs exceptionally well with vanilla ice cream. The white chocolate flavor is subtle, not overwhelming, like artificial white chocolate can be. The hot fudge is applied generously, and it's good quality. Thick, chocolatey, not too sweet. It doesn't have artificial aftertaste from cheap chocolate sauce. It stays where they put it instead of running all over the bowl. The melting aspect isn't just gimmick. As white chocolate sauce interacts with ice cream and warm brownie, it creates rich, creamy sauce that binds everything together. The whipped cream is real whipped cream. Real whipped cream matters because it has flavor and texture. It doesn't disappear on your tongue like aerosol whipped cream. TGI Fridays could use canned whipped cream and save money. They choose not to. Holiday sprinkles are nice touch without being excessive. They're not there to hide anything, they're festive. They add tiny bit of crunch and visual appeal. Kids appreciate this. It makes the dessert feel special without changing the fundamental experience of eating a good sundae. What really sets this apart is execution. TGI Fridays serves this consistently well. Portions are generous. Ice cream is always right temperature. Brownie chunks are always soft. This tells you the kitchen has a system, and they follow it. It strikes good balance between being sweet and having texture variety. The brownie holds up against sauce, providing satisfying chew. It captures fun of Christmas dessert without sacrificing quality. At $9, this is slightly higher than some sundaes, but quality justifies the price. Ingredients are better. Execution is consistent. Portion is substantial. Del Frisco's Apple Cranberry Cobbler is the best dessert on this entire list. Del Frisco's operates at higher price point, and this dessert justifies every penny. It features tart apples and cranberries baked with cinnamon oat crumble, served with vanilla ice cream and caramel sauce. Let's start with the filling, which is the heart of any cobbler. Del Frisco's uses apple and cranberry combination, and both are prepared correctly. The apples are cooked to perfect texture, tender but not mushy. They still have structure. When you bite into apple piece, it holds together but isn't crunchy. That takes skill and attention. Undercooked apples are hard. Overcooked apples turn to mush. These are in the sweet spot. The cranberries are essential. Most chain desserts are too sweet. The cranberries add tartness that balances apple sweetness and sugar. A lot of restaurants skip cranberries or use them sparingly because they're tart. Del Frisco's uses them generously. That tartness provides sharp, natural acidity that cuts through sugar and caramel richness. The filling is spiced with cinnamon and nutmeg, but not excessively. You taste warm spices without them overpowering the fruit. This is seasonal baking done right. Spices enhance apples, and cranberries without dominating. The cobbler topping is where this really shines. Good cobbler topping should be buttery, slightly crispy on top, and tender underneath. This hits all those marks. The top layer has golden brown crust that's slightly crisp, not hard or burnt. Underneath, the topping is tender and almost cake-like. It absorbs some fruit juices, creating perfect marriage of fruit and topping. The butter flavor is prominent, which is exactly what you want. This tastes like real butter, not margarine or shortening. Real butter has richness and depth substitutes can't match. The oat crumble stays crisp, providing excellent crunch against soft fruit and melting ice cream. The cobbler is served warm, which is crucial. Warm fruit desserts are infinitely better than room temperature or cold. Warmth enhances spices and makes butter more noticeable. It creates comfort food feeling you want from cobbler. On the side, vanilla ice cream. Del Frisco's uses premium ice cream, rich and creamy with actual vanilla flavor. When you scoop ice cream and warm cobbler together, ice cream starts melting and creates sauce. That sauce combines with fruit juices and becomes an incredible mixture of cold cream, warm fruit, buttery topping, and spice. At $12, this is the most expensive dessert on our list. But context matters. You're at a steakhouse where entrees are $30 to $40. Sides are $10 each. $12 dessert is in line with overall pricing. And quality justifies cost. Del Frisco's isn't cutting corners. They're using fresh apples and cranberries. They're making cobbler topping properly with real butter. They're using premium ice cream. They're serving it at right temperature. This is the result of having a professional kitchen with trained cooks who know what they're doing. If you're looking for dessert that feels like genuine homemade holiday treat, this is the one to order. 8 desserts, 5 that waste your money, 3 that actually deliver. The pattern is obvious. The worst desserts prioritize marketing over quality. They look good in photos but taste like disappointment. The good ones succeed because they use quality ingredients and execute basics correctly. This Christmas, when you're staring at a dessert menu, remember these names. Don't fall for seasonal hype or good photos. Order desserts that actually taste good. Your money matters. Your meal matters. Make choices based on quality, not marketing. If this saved you from expensive mistakes, subscribe for more honest restaurant breakdowns. And share this with someone who needs to know the truth about chain restaurant desserts.